now I'll introduce the slide itself. Now traditionally slides were made out of a wide range of different materials. I mean, in the early days, people would use knives, pen knives, anything, cigarette holders, anything that would slide across the string. Modern slides you can buy, I like this brass slide. It's a very heavy gauge brass slide, it's a heavy thing. Or glass slides, as long as they have a little bit of weight, a little bit of mass, a little bit of density. The cheaper slides, the plastic slides, chrome slides, they don't work very well for me. They're too light and you don't get any mass into the string. What you're actually looking for is the weight of the slide against a heavy string actually produces the sound. So it's the weight of this slide against the string that produces the sound. With a lighter slide, you have to press into the string. What we're trying to do is slide on top of the string, not press it into the string. So a heavy slide. Now the choice of finger, this is quite important. You'll see people wearing slides on a range of different fingers, often the third, sometimes I've seen it on the second. I assume this is probably because it's more comfortable, the little finger being the weaker of them all. I would recommend using the fourth finger, the little finger. It's weak, but it gets stronger. The reason for this is, if you put on the little finger, you leave your other fingers free to play chords. And so there's an awful lot of material you can play just using those three fingers. So now we're choosing a slide. Now I choose to wear the slide on the little finger. The length of the slide, this is important. You'll see quite a lot of slides, short slides. Now short slides seem to be fine if you're playing electric guitar or if you're playing guitar where you're accompanied by somebody else. An acoustic slide playing, you really need a slide that's going to go across all 6 strings, because at certain times you will be sliding across all 6. This slide is sufficiently long to go across all 6. The other thing that's important as well is the bow. Obviously, you need to have something which is comfortable on your finger, that is not going to fall off, not going to be too tight, so you can hold this in place. Now, actually using the slide, there are a couple of important things to think about when you use the slide. One is when you're playing standard guitar, what you do is you play behind the fret. We all become very good at playing behind the fret. In slide guitar, you have to play exactly over the top of the fret. This is something that people tend to find a little bit difficult when you first come to slide guitar. And I think it's a visual thing. I think it's just being aware that you're having to move directly above the fret. The difference being, if I'm slightly behind the fret, I'll just do that one again, is that it's you can really hear the difference in tuning. The slide has to be right over the crown of the fret. So if we're looking at the fret, the slide is exactly over the center of the fret. Slightly behind, you can hear the difference when it slides here. That's an important thing. Using your ear to correct this will make it better. The other thing that's really important about this, and that is damping. Now, I've got my fingers laid on the strings behind the slide. They're not pushing down, there's no pressing here at all, they're just laid flat. Now I don't know whether you can hear this difference. Let me play without the fingers. Not very nice. You can hear all of the additional resonances going on, you can hear the sound of the overtones behind the slide at the same time. Now the difference with the fingers on is this. Quite a big difference to lifting the fingers off. Now this serves 2 purposes. The 2 purposes are, particularly when you come to playing single line playing, let me just demonstrate. First, without the damping. Now that's not a very attractive sound. You've got too many overtones ringing on, the notes tend to blur together too much. Let me do this with damping. Straight away, by putting damping on, we're killing off all those additional overtones that we don't want at this point. This has an additional benefit. The additional benefit is this. If you play without your fingers on, there's a tendency for the slide to move in relation to the frets, creating all sorts of strange sounds. Now, as soon as you put your fingers on like this, watch what happens as you move the slide around the guitar neck. Your fingers keep the slide directly over the top of the fret, parallel to the fret at all times. So they'll hold your hand in a good playing position. This is initially uncomfortable because what you have to do to achieve this is you have to get the angle on your wrist bent right round. You need to do that to get your hand in the right position. People find this uncomfortable. It gets better with time, and it's good for all guitar playing anyway, so this is one to stick with it. So damping is really important. I'll come back to this over and over again. As with all rules, you break them frequently. And in my playing, when I'm demonstrating various things, I will actually raise this hand up. But I do this for effect. So maybe when I'm hitting a G chord, instead of going, just hitting the G, I might actually hit it and let it ring. You can hear the strings opening up when I take the hand off. Let me do that again. So the rule of using the hands to damp notes, sometimes break, but you break this rule for effect. So the starting point is fingers in the right position. Good way of practicing this is this, quite simply. We're going to take a 12-bar blues, and we're just going to play the chords of the blues. 12-bar blues in G, we're going to play G, C, D. I'm going to slide around the chords, and I'm going to accompany this with a bass note. Now, if you're not used to playing finger picking, you might find this a little bit uncomfortable. It's something to work up. So I'm playing a 4 to the bar bass note. Then I'm going to slide chords. So he will start at the beginning of the 12-bar blues. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was a simple 12-bar blues with an accompanying bass line, picking on the 5th string, 4 beats to the bar, sliding into the chord. What you will have noticed there as well, I was adding vibrato. Now, vibrato is a very useful technique just for making the notes sustain longer, add a little bit of colour and decoration to the notes. Now, vibrato on slide guitar is achieved by first centering the slide in the right position, right above the fret, and then moving it either side of the fret, as I'll demonstrate here. Let me do that again. It's really nice for adding colour. Too much vibrato and it makes me feel a little seasick, but just a little just adds that lovely colour and sustain as well.